Welcome back to the Monsters of Rock show. Now, back in the days of the savage 70s when I was a mere callow youth, one of the bands that totally turned me on to rock and roll and showed me that the bad way is always the best way were a band called Aerosmith. Well, lo and behold, all this time on, I've got the leaders of the band with me here today, Mr. Joe Perry and Mr. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith.
How are you?
Hello. Oh, all right, how are you, chaps?
Great.
Now, it must be, of course, a long, long time since you were in England. How long has it been exactly?
10 years? 9 years?
About 10 years.
If we were here last time at all?
Well, 10 years, has it been worth the wait? What have you been doing since you got here?
Interviews and TV and press and why we didn't come over here last month and...
A lot of that.
You know, on and on.
All those good tourist activities, yeah.
Just the red light districts in Germany.
Now, of course, you're over here promoting your brand new album, Permanent Vacation, about which I'm going to ask you in a minute. But I want to get into some music before we relax and, you know, really talk. We're going to show the Run DMC video that you did. How did that collaboration first come about?
We were on the road.
And Rick Rubin called us up from, their producer and said, the guys are going to do it, to walk this way, so why don't you drop into the studio. They sent us some plane tickets. Steven and I went in for about 6 hours, cut the track. We did, I put the guitars and the bass on, Steven sang it, and they rapped it, and we left, and then we got a phone call. They said, it's going to be on the album, It was all.
The video was the fun, breaking the walls down between black and white and just having a good kick-ass time.
All right, well, let's have a look at that video now. This is Run DMC and Aerosmith, and this is Walk This Way. Run DMC and Aerosmith, as if you didn't know, and Walk This Way. Now, of course, what a lot of people don't realise, our younger viewers anyway, is that Walk This Way, of course, was an original track by you from your Toys in the Attic album, which is way back in 1975, I think.
Way back.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite version? Do you still prefer the original, or do you think the new one's a good go at it?
This was fun. It's like you were saying, a lot of people, a lot of the hardcore fans like to take the piss out of it, but all in all, it was fun to do. Like I said, we broke down the walls. It's great when you watch it back. And if they don't like it, well, the hell with you.
I could see if we went out and incorporated LL Cool J and a bunch of other people to help us on our record, you know what I mean? But, just listen to Hearts Done Time on a new record, and that's like, it shows we haven't, we do that well too, Just another piece.
Because, way back in the days before anybody had ever heard of Run DMC, you boys were selling millions and millions of albums all over America and the world, weren't you? In fact, there's a lot of wild stories about you from those days, one of which I wanted to ask you about. Apparently, back in 76 or 77 in America, when you were touring stadiums, you all used to have separate dressing rooms, and you were all picked up by a limousine and driven to the stage. Is that true?
Only in the big shows. One limousine each, of course.
Well, right. I noticed you didn't get a limousine down from the dressing room down to the set today.
That's okay.
We've come a bit of a way since then. It's like, whoever had the designer drug for the evening, didn't want the other person to know about it, but like I said, that was a long time ago, and this is now. Right.
But there are some terribly funny stories from that. Apparently you used to earn $1 million a month just from your shows, is that right?
God, yeah, I wish.
Oh, really?
I bet it wasn't far from that.
Well, our managers did. I don't know what we made, So, yeah, there's some good stories.
Do you see the band as completely different now from the way it was in the 70s? It's the same people, but is it a different operation these days?
It feels to me like it was when we first came out with the first couple of records. Like the Done With Mirrors record felt to me like the first Aerosmith record, and now the Permanent Vacation is making a natural progression, It feels like that.
All right. Now, we haven't had any of the new album on the show yet, so let's have a look at the first single from that album. This is Aerosmith and Dude Looks Like a Lady. Dude Looks Like a Lady, the brand new single by Aerosmith, and that there was the slightly edited version of the track. Right, boys, what are we missing? What didn't we see there?
A bit of tail feathers, and there's a nice shot where it goes, turn the other cheek, dear, and the cameraman comes zooming up to her, grabs her leather skirt, rips it off, and she's got a G-string on up the crack, but there's an Aerosmith logo on the cheek of her butt, and MTV deems that unnecessary in the States.
Well, all I can say is I promise you we'll definitely have it on the show next week, just as soon as we get it. Now, of course, I just said that's the brand new Aerosmith single. There was a time, wasn't there, not so long ago, just a few years ago, when there wasn't any Aerosmith at all. You left the band in 1980, Joe.
Yes.
Then there was a whole long period of inactivity. Was there a time when you both seriously thought the band would never record and work together again?
Well, Steven had the band going. There was Aerosmith working on the records,
Yeah, Steve Tyler and Joe Perry,
Well, it was a major ego thing, It was like you know, I consider us like musical lovers, and we had a breakup because of this and that and the other thing. And I think the egos, I always said, I'm going to keep Aerosmith together no matter what. And I got a couple of stand-ins for him, and they worked for about a year. But after that, the magic wasn't there. I'd look over and I'd see Jimmy Crespo, and he looked like Joe, and it just wasn't the real thing. So I got, you know, bummed out and finally.
So who called who? Did you call Joe and say?
I don't know why that's so important. Everybody asks that. Who called who? You know what I mean? Who was the one?
I
you know
found
what I
out
mean?
he was
Actually,
doing
my
Alice
manager
Cooper.
called his manager. And it was,
Really? He was going to do something with Alice Cooper, and I said, what? How could someone from
and I was going, what am I
Aerosmith?
doing? What am I going to play with Alice? I mean, Alice is great, you know, but I mean, I'm going, my band is happening, you know what I mean? So, you know, we talked, we got together in New York City, and, you know, from there on it was history, you know?
Lovers at first bite.
All right, okay. Now, this is your second album post-Reformation. It's called Permanent Vacation. One of the things I like about it is it's not really what you'd call strict heavy metal. I mean, you've got a lot of different styles in there. You've got a bit of blues, a bit of country. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, but it's all a la Aerosmith. You know, we've always been that. We've always been real diversified. You know, we've had Train Kept Rolling and Dream On, you know, just both sides of it, just to show that we could.
All right. All right, now listen, we haven't got another Aerosmith video, but this is something that the boys picked especially. This is Dave Lee Roth and Going Crazy.
No, I guess not. You know, I mean...
Ah, we're back. That was David Lee Roth for Going Crazy. God, we nearly blew it there, didn't we, boys? Utterly.
That's the fun of it, isn't it?
Listen, I noticed you picked that David Lee Roth video. You fans of David Lee Roth and Van Halen? And...
Yeah.
Well, you know, look at me. He's having so much fun in that video that it reads that. You know, you watch that, and along with a good song, it's just he's having a blast, you know. A lot of people says he's being wussy and too funny and too cute shaking his butt, but it looks good.
I know
It reads well, it reads fun.
I'm sure you know exactly what the next question is going to be. There's a lot of bands around at the moment, people like Rat, people like Motley Crue, even people like, I would say, Van Halen, you know, who came along in the wake of Aerosmith, just when it seemed as if Aerosmith was about to shine to the background a bit. All these other bands came along and looked exactly like you. I mean, do you feel they've stolen any of your thunder, or do you feel that now that you're back, you're here to teach them a lesson or anything?
I suppose.
It's funny, all the interviews we do, you know, you all are more bummed out about it, or have more of an attitude about it than we do. It's like you know, yeah, they've grabbed and nicked some stuff from us, but they'll never take the thunder out of Joe Perry. Never take the thunder and the fire out of Aerosmith, because we have Yo Tengo El Fuego.
Toxic Twins are on tour again.
All right. Well, listen, you say when you're on tour. When are you going on tour? And you haven't even played over here for 10 years. When can we expect to see you playing in Britain and Europe? Straight answer now.
In fact, we talked to our agents this weekend. We're gonna try and come over in February, but I know we'll be over in June. I know for sure.
June?
In June.
Right, that's when my birthday is. I'm holding these boys to it. We're going to say goodbye to them in a minute, but before we do, I've got to give you the address caption, so I know absolutely thousands of you are out there waiting to write in. And it's Mick Wall, Monsters of Rock Show, Skytrax, 87 St John's Wood Terrace, London, Northwest 8, 6PY, England. That's the Monsters of Rock Show, Skytrax, 87 St John's Wood Terrace, London, Northwest 8, 6PY, England. My thanks to my guests today. It's been a real pleasure meeting these guys at last. And if they don't come back over in June, I'm going to want to know why. Joe Perry, thank you very much. Good luck with your tour.
Thank you.
Steve Tyler, thank you too. All right, the end of another show. Oh, we've had enough anyway. We're off. Keep writing in, keep watching, and this is the Sleaze Bees and Girls, Girls, Nasty, Nasty.